You're Captain Calm this morning, it seems. Not Captain Scary Pants?
Just give me a couple minutes. That will all change. No, welcome now to day 8 of the world's biggest hissy fit.
Yes.
That's what we're looking at now. Day 8, Donald Trump locked away in the residence somewhere with his phone, not going out in public, just eating Ben and Jerry's and hamburgers and one Diet Coke after another, just in a big puddle of his own filth.
Right, that we have to go through this. Brian Stelter, reporter, tweeted, they say this is all part of walking President Trump through this process emotionally. What? Shut the
insane that we
pack your
oh my God,
and get out for God's sakes. That they assume that while he may never concede, he will leave. There will be, they say, a peaceful transition of power to the Biden-Harris administration on January 20th. They say that. Really? So we all have to hold baby's hands.
Oh my God! Please, can we just bring in the grown-ups now? I mean, just grown-ups. That's all we're asking for. Competent grown-ups.
And Biden,
it used to be where you say, well, this candidate, I agree with this candidate on issues X, Y, and Z. Now it's just, oh my God, just please, someone who acts
the
like
most
an
calming
adult.
thing that happened yesterday was Joe Biden's laugh.
Yes.
It's just
Joe Biden is taking the exact perfect tone throughout this whole thing.
Yeah, he said this is, he summed it up. This is embarrassing. Yeah. This is just embarrassing. Yes. It's not, I mean, even Erdogan and Netanyahu and all of Trump's pals have already congratulated Biden. George W. Bush. I mean, it's just, it really is. It is equal parts pathetic. And baby does have the nuclear code, so it's a little bit terrifying.
That's right. Yes,
I gotta get your take on this. Alexander Vindman tweeted, in the last 24 hours, the Secretary of Defense, the Undersecretary of Defense for Policy, the Undersecretary of Defense for Intelligence have been sacked. Trump loyalists now sit in the 1, 3, and 4 slots at DOD. Kash Patel is DOD Chief of Staff. Why? That's and there is real concern at the Department of Defense. They are freaking out. And so, the question is, should we be? We will ask you. We'll ask Frank Filguzzi. We'll ask Malcolm Nance. But what do you think he's doing?
Well, first of all, what is this? The 8th or 9th or 12th Saturday Night Massacre that we've been through? Yeah. Remember how nice it was when there was just one Saturday Night Massacre, and that was a big historic event in American politics? Yeah. Now it happens every other day. We're just like, yes, he's randomly firing people again. And why is he firing these people? Of course, it's to help himself.
And they're interviewing people for the second Trump term.
Yes. Oh, my God. Yes. These are the Japanese soldiers lost on the island who don't realize the war is over.
Right.
And so this is Donald Trump. I don't know. There's lots of speculation in terms of what could be going on. And it depends on, again, when you catch me in particular, depending on my mood, in terms of how I evaluate what's really happening behind the scenes here, because it could be everything from the most catastrophic concept to just Donald Trump. They're just pacifying the giant baby.
And they will break everything on the way out. Mm-hmm. They're saying these giant arms deals, he's trying to limit Biden's options in the Middle East. He's going to, who knows, maybe precipitously pull every troop out of Afghanistan before conditions are met. I mean, you just don't know what he's going to do, but it will be to F with Biden for sure.
Absolutely.
And America, because he doesn't care.
Yeah. My best evaluation of what Trump is doing right now is embodied in that viral video of that German kid beating the hell out of his computer. That is and the German language makes it especially scary. And that's the image that I have of Donald Trump and the residents, just watching the numbers come in and just screaming in German at his computer and pounding the hell out of his keyboard.
Yeah, and it's not terrifying that it's in German. Yeah.
Nine, 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 nine.
Exactly. There you go. And that
he is like the meme, the Hitler in the bunker. Like, people have already been dubbing that in already. Hitler screaming at everybody in the bunker. I love everybody who I haven't already given COVID to, get out.
But I mean, I do urge caution. Here's where Captain Scary Pants emerges. I guess I should take my glasses off.
Yes.
Run into a phone booth.
Do we need some ominous music underneath you?
Superman, go ahead.
Well, I don't have anything specific.
Okay.
Yeah, this will work. So often, during the Trump crisis, during the last 4 years, we have looked at something Trump has done and go, well, oh, he can't possibly do that.
Right.
And then that suddenly becomes, I can't believe he did that.
Yeah.
So don't write off the worst case scenario with this guy because you don't know. He's a psycho bomb. He could go anywhere.
Well, I mean, you've done a great interview with Mary Trump. I mean, that's what's so terrifying. Not only is she a psychologist, she's known him since, in the family. And you're like, oh no, he'll do anything. He'll break anything on the way out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
he is physically incapable of accepting a concession or performing a concession, accepting defeat, leaving peacefully. He's not wired for it. No one should expect it. Expecting him to be a normal president. People have been trying to do that for the last 4 years, and it never works out. It never happens. He's never going to pivot. Well, what do you need to learn this lesson?
Speaking of what's going on, NBC News Vice President Pence is going on vacation, and you just said, Mama, what does vacation mean? Vacation's when you go somewhere and you don't ever come back.
That's right. One of the many lessons from the
Forrest Gump.
Yes. Yeah.
No, I mean, people are speculating it's quarantine or, because obviously everybody has it because COVID in the White House.
Yeah.
Right? Everyone on his
that's
staff.
Exactly it. And it was election night. I mean, it's not like they didn't have some sort of giant super spreader event in the former Rose Garden.
The head of the coronavirus task force is going on vacation when we hit our highest day ever. Yeah.
I mean, this has already happened once, and they went and did it again on election night. Had a huge party with hundreds of people, all people they know, and now everyone's getting it again. And whether it's Mark Meadows or Ben Carson or whoever, it's just you got to laugh. You just have to laugh.
Speaking at health, how funny will it be if the final exploding comedy cigar of the Trump administration is Obamacare does not get struck down by the Supreme Court? Which, and I know you can't. They always say you can't listen to take arguments and go, oh my God, they're going to rule this way. But as you said, more good news. Remember, all we need is Roberts and Kavanaugh to vote with Kagan, Sotomayor, and Breyer. Chief Justice John Roberts says striking down Obamacare when Congress wouldn't is not our job. And you said I've already forecast that the mandate will be struck down, but the rest of the ACA will be upheld. Judge Perjury McBarfie. I think he's just trying to not get impeached. I think he's just like, no. I'll uphold Obamacare if you don't impeach me for perjury.
And of course,
but he and Roberts, right, did say things about severability and things that would lead you to believe that's how they're going to rule, right?
Oh yeah. This is one of the most frivolous lawsuits against the ACA that we've ever seen. It starts in Texas. It starts with that judge Reed Connor, and he ruled one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen in my life, which is that, well, because the mandate is unconstitutional, the whole law has to go. And it shows such a lack of understanding what is in this legislation. I mean, we're talking about thousands of pages of consumer protections, of subsidies for low-income people, an expansion of Medicaid. I mean, student loan reform. It's all in there. None of it connected to the mandate whatsoever. So, of course, the justices are going to set aside partisanship for such a ridiculous argument and say, we can't possibly latch our names to this nonsense that has landed on our laps. And that's basically the tone. Elie Mystal did some great tweeting about this yesterday, where he was kind of paraphrasing what the justices were saying. And it was appropriately hilarious.
Right. Yeah. Well, the legal concept here is called severability. Roberts and Kavanaugh hinted they have the same view of how it applies in the case as Democrats do. Looking at our severability precedents, it does seem fairly clear that the proper remedy here would be to sever the mandate and leave the rest of the law in place, said Judge Perjury McPuke Shoes.
And that's obviously the most logical solution to this. I mean, if you, I hope someone just
Judge Ralphie McBarfie. Your vote.
I mean, if you're predisposed to declaring the mandate unconstitutional, this is the best case scenario. The mandate goes out. That gives Joe Biden and the Democrats in Congress some other way to help to finance the Affordable Care Act, because that's essentially what the mandate is there for, to get everyone onto into the health insurance system, which bends the cost curve, and lots of wonky stuff.
Right.
So, I could go on for
nerd, settle down, nerd. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
All right.
I know.
So in the saying the quiet part out loud section today, Lindsey Graham said, if we don't do something about voting by mail, we're going to lose the ability to elect a Republican in this country.
Oh my
God.
God.
Entirely too many people voted is the problem. So,
Yeah.
you said effing stupid. The only way Republicans will lose mail-in votes is if the Republican candidates continue to tell supporters not to vote by mail because it's rigged, like Trump did. Con men, duping morons.
It's a fascinating thing to observe where they just don't know what something is, so they automatically assume it's a conspiracy, or at least they pretend it's that way. Mail-in votes. Who invented this nonsense?
Well, and a lot of Republicans voted by mail too, Bob. So what are we going to throw?
Yes,
let's throw out all the mail-in votes then. I mean, it's like okay.
There were Trump campaign emails urging people to vote by mail. It's just,
I know.
but now they're pretending that this is so unheard of that people can vote by mail. Where did this suddenly come from? And they're making that out to seem as if it's some vast conspiracy against Republicans, and it's not.
We've all said that Biden, obviously a better person than all of us, which is why he should be president. That's goes to the point of your piece, Bob, and you are with me on the Suck a Bag of D's platform. Trump, you said Trump isn't going anywhere. Reaching out to these people is utterly pointless. The only way to keep these freaks and weirdos out of power is to continue registering new Democratic voters and generating massive turnout. And your piece was great. You said it's Biden's job to act like a grown-up, but unity and civility are a long way off. It's natural for Biden to set the tone, but civility toward racists and conspiracy theorists is not an option. That's what I said yesterday. You said there's nothing wrong with the next president going high in the face of soon-to-be ex-president whose entire business model is going low. And you said one of the myriad differences between Biden and Trump is Biden knows that the president's role is vastly different than a cable news pundit or a podcaster or an activist role. Bob, we've got the going low. You're right. Nobody needs to. We've got this. You continue to go high, Joe Biden, and we will be down here.
Well, that's the mistake Donald Trump made. Believing that the president can act like one of the Rush Limbaugh or Sean Hannity or something like that.
A troll. We elected an internet troll.
The president can just freely act like a YouTube commenter or something like that, and that's not. It's a complete misapprehension. The presidency isn't about that. The presidency isn't about getting in the trenches. The presidency is about being above that. Yeah. Sure, you can be partisan on occasion, but you don't act like one of the people in the trenches.
So let's look at the numbers. 80% of Americans know Joe Biden won the election, so including half of Republicans. So it's that other half of Republicans. Screw them. I mean, as you said, how do we reason with people who believe there's a deep state of blood drinkers running the government? How do we find common ground with people who support the indefinite incarceration of children? How do we reach out to voters who, for the second time in a row, voted for a known sociopath? How do we engage in dialogue with people who seriously believe herd immunity is an acceptable means of fighting a pandemic, one that's already killed 250,000 Americans? I agree with you, but also to realize that it is not half the country. Half of Republicans it's that 30% base or whatever that you always talk about, right?
Yeah. But I mean, look, we're staring down the barrel of another at least 4 years of kind of what we went through during the Obama years in terms of just the conservative entertainment complex just going indiscriminately bananas. And we're going to see that. We're going to see members of Mitch McConnell, the usual suspects, Jim Jordan, all the rest. They're going to be acting like, monkeys with machine guns for the next 4 years. And we can absolutely anticipate that and burying our heads in the sand and saying that, well, now it's all going to be an era of reconciliation and everyone loving each other and kumbaya and all the rest of it. That's not going to happen. But it's important for the president to at least remain above it and remain dignified with humility and honor and respect. And that's what the president is all about. And quite frankly, that allows the rest of us to voice our opinions about what the other side is doing, to engage in those shovel fights. Yeah. So we all have our roles in this.
Yes, and ours has always been to go low with plenty of fart jokes and plenty of jokes. And that will be here for you. All right. Thank you, Bob.
That's right.
Captain Scary Pants, we love you. The Bob Cesca Show is, as we know, essential. And you must get it on the Sexy Liberal Podcast Network. I love you.
Love you.
Bye. Love you.